Why your inner circle is keeping you middle class without you realizing. Let me tell you something that might be uncomfortable, but it could change your life. The people around you, your friends, your family, your daily circle, might be the exact reason you're still stuck in the same financial position. Not because they hate you, not because they want you to fail, but because they are wired to keep things the same. And if you don't understand this, you will unknowingly stay middle class forever. Here's how it works. Every human being operates within what psychologists call a comfort zone ecosystem. Your inner circle reinforces what is normal, acceptable, and safe. If everyone around you earns a certain amount, thinks a certain way, and lives a certain lifestyle, your brain starts to believe that's the limit. Now imagine this. You start thinking bigger. You want to build a business. You want to invest. You want to take risks. Suddenly, the same people who laughed with you, supported you, and spent time with you start saying things like, be realistic. Don't risk what you have. People like us don't do that. It sounds like concern, but it's actually control, unintentional control, because your growth threatens their normal. Let's look at a real example. Tyler Perry didn't grow up in wealth. He came from struggle, homeless at one point. But what changed his life wasn't just talent, it was distance. He removed himself from environments that normalized limitation. He surrounded himself with people who believed in building something bigger. And that shift, it changed his trajectory completely. Now compare that to most people. They stay in the same environment, same conversations, same mindset, day after day, year after year, and they wonder why nothing changes. Here's the truth most people won't say out loud. Your environment is stronger than your motivation. You can watch all the motivational videos you want, read all the books, set all the goals. But if you go back to people who don't challenge you, don't grow, don't think bigger, you will slowly shrink back to their level. It's not immediate, it's subtle. You start adjusting your language, you stop sharing your big ideas, you begin to fit in again. And just like that, your potential gets negotiated down. Now think about Oprah Winfrey. She didn't become Oprah by staying in limiting environments. She intentionally built a network of thinkers, creators, and visionaries. People who operated at a higher level. And that exposure changed her mindset, because success leaves clues, but only if you're close enough to see them. Here's a simple question you need to ask yourself. What do people around you talk about most? Is it growth, opportunities, investments, or is it complaints, bills, problems? Because conversations shape beliefs, and beliefs shape outcomes. If your daily conversations are about survival, your life will stay in survival mode. Now, this doesn't mean your friends are bad people. It just means they are operating at their level. And if you stay there, you accept that level too. Let me give you a powerful way to think about this. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Not just financially, but mentally, emotionally, and behaviorally. So if you're constantly around people who avoid risk, fear change, stay comfortable, then your brain adapts to that as the right way to live. And the moment you try to break out, it feels wrong. That's not intuition. That's conditioning. And until you recognize it, you'll keep mistaking comfort for correctness. Now that you understand the hidden influence of your inner circle, let's go deeper, because this isn't just about mindset. It's about patterns that silently control your financial future. Let's start with a hard truth. Most people don't fail because they lack ability. They fail because they are surrounded by the wrong standards. Standards determine what you tolerate, and what you tolerate becomes your reality. Let's look at a contrasting example. Nicolas Cage, an incredibly talented actor. At one point, one of the highest paid in Hollywood. But despite earning massive amounts of money, he faced serious financial problems. Why? Not because he couldn't earn, but because of decisions, habits, and influences that didn't support long-term growth. This is what people don't realize. Success isn't just about making money. It's about sustaining it. And your environment plays a huge role in that. If you're surrounded by people who normalize poor financial habits, overspending, lack of planning, short-term thinking, you will absorb those patterns, even if you're earning more than them. Now contrast that with high performers. They are intentional about who they spend time with. They don't just ask, do I like this person? They ask them, does this person elevate how I think? That's a completely different standard. Here's how your inner circle quietly limits you. Number one, they normalize average results. When everyone around you is earning just enough to survive, not thrive, that level of income quietly becomes your mental standard. No one says it out loud, but you feel it in the conversations. You hear things like, at least we're getting by. Things are tough everywhere. You should just be grateful you have something. And over time, that messaging reshapes your expectations. You stop asking bigger questions like, what would it take to double my income? How do people actually build wealth? Why am I settling for this level? Instead, your focus shifts to maintenance, not growth. This is how average becomes invisible, not because it's impressive, but because it's familiar. Psychologically, humans are wired to seek belonging. Standing out, even financially, can feel uncomfortable if it separates you from your group. So instead of outgrowing your environment, you subconsciously adjust your ambition to match it. You don't even realize it's happening. Think about it like this. If everyone around you drives a basic car, lives paycheck to paycheck, and never talks about investing or scaling income, then wealth starts to feel unrealistic or not for people like us. But place yourself in a room where people discuss investments casually. Multiple income streams are normal. Growth is expected, not optional. Suddenly, your entire perspective shifts. The truth is, your environment doesn't just influence your results, it defines what you believe is possible. And if just enough is the standard around you, then more starts to feel unnecessary, even risky. That's how people stay stuck. Not because they lack ability, but because they've accepted a limited version of normal. Number two, they discourage calculated risk. Every major breakthrough, financial, professional, or personal, comes with a level of uncertainty. There's no growth without stepping into the unknown. But here's the problem. If your inner circle fears risk, they will unconsciously train you to fear it too. Not because they want to hold you back, but because they want you to stay safe, like them. You'll hear things like, what if it doesn't work out? You have a stable job, why risk it? That sounds too uncertain. And on the surface, it sounds like care. But underneath, it's fear being transferred. Over time, that fear becomes your internal voice. So instead of making calculated moves, you start avoiding them altogether. You don't start the business. Don't invest in yourself. Don't explore new opportunities. Not because you've analyzed the risk, but because you've absorbed someone else's fear of it. And the most dangerous part? You start believing that playing small is the smart choice. But here's the reality. There's a difference between reckless risk and calculated risk. Reckless risk is jumping without thinking. Calculated risk is evaluating, preparing, and then moving anyway. The people who build wealth don't avoid risk, they manage it. They learn before they leap, start small but think big, accept short-term discomfort for long-term gain. But if your circle only values safety, stability, and predictability, then anything outside that box feels threatening. So you shrink your vision to fit their comfort zone. And slowly your life becomes a reflection of their fears, not your potential. Number three, they keep you emotionally comfortable. Growth is uncomfortable. But your circle often prioritizes comfort over growth. They'll pull you back to what's familiar, even if it's limiting. Now here's the turning point. You don't need to cut everyone off, but you do need to upgrade your exposure. Start asking yourself, who challenges me? Who inspires me? Who is living the life I want to live? Because proximity changes everything. If you can't physically be around high-level thinkers, do it digitally. Listen to their interviews. Study their decisions. Understand how they think. Because the more you expose your mind to higher standards, the more your old environment starts to feel limiting. And that's a good sign. It means you're growing. Here's a practical shift you can make starting today. Replace 1 hour of low-value interaction with high-value input. Instead of conversations that drain you, engage with content that expands you. Books, podcasts, mentorship. This is how you slowly rewire your environment without dramatic changes. Because the goal isn't isolation, it's elevation. And as you elevate, two things will happen. Some people will naturally drift away, and new people will enter your life. People who think bigger, move differently, and expect more. That's when your results start to change. Not overnight, but consistently, because now your environment supports your growth instead of suppressing it. So here's the final question. Are the people around you helping you grow or helping you stay the same? Because once you answer that honestly, you'll know exactly what needs to change. And when you make that change, your financial life will follow.